Welcome back to Movie Overviews. Today I will show you an action, war, drama film from 2006, titled 300. Spoilers ahead, look out and proceed with care. A baby can be seen held up at the top of a cliff. A Spartan baby being inspected by an elder. Spartan customs are harsh. The Spartans inspect each infant born to ensure it is whole. If it is deformed, the baby is abandoned to die. The next clip shows the baby grown into a young child in combat training, known as the agoge. The boy can be seen sword combating an adult male warrior. The warrior strikes the Spartan child on his lip with his sword. A small Spartan boy's loss of his weapon earns a bloody lip from the hand of his own father. From when they can stand, Spartan men are taught that death on the battlefield for Sparta is the greatest glory they can achieve. At age 7, each young boy is torn from his mother and makes his own way in the wilderness, to return a man. Even the king endures this rite of passage. The custom has been in Spartan warrior society for 300 years, to create the best soldiers worldwide. They starve and whip the boy to teach him to never retreat. At age 15, young King Leonidas gets chucked in the wild amongst wolves, a test that will end in him returning as a Spartan or lead to his death. The boy faces the wolf. Snaring at the boy, the wolf leaps to eat him, but gets stuck between a rock. The boy lunges his spear into the wolf's mouth, stabbing right through and out of the wolf's neck. The boy returns to Sparta, victorious, and is crowned King Leonidas with warriors chanting. In 480 BC, a state of war exists between Persia, led by King Xerxes, and Greece. In the next scene, Persian messengers approach quickly on horses, visiting King Leonidas requesting Sparta's submission to King Xerxes. In Sparta, women are free to speak amongst men, a practice Persians see as disrespectful. After Queen Gorgo, King Leonidas' wife, speaks up, the messenger speaks rudely to King Leonidas' wife. The king listens but is angered by the messenger's insults. Suddenly, King Leonidas draws his knife and, insulted by their attitude with strength, kicks the Persian warrior to his death into a deep well. The Spartan warriors proceed to fight the Persian men and push them all into the well to their death. Acknowledging the threat of Xerxes' invasion force, King Leonidas visits the ephors, priests, to obtain their favor before sending the Spartan army in battle. He proposes to repel the numerically superior enemy by using the terrain of the hot gates of Thermopylae, funneling the Persians into a narrow pass between the rocks and the sea, where their immense numbers will count for nothing. The ephors, wary of the plan, consult the oracle. In her drugged trance, she decrees that Sparta must not go to war, lest they interrupt the sacred Carnean festival. Leonidas departs in anger, and the priests receive their bribe of Xerxes' gold from the Spartan traitor, Theron, for their negative response. Leonidas is reluctant to defy the corrupt clergy outright, but his wife encourages him to think outside the box. Leonidas elects to take 300 of his best soldiers as his bodyguard on a leisurely walk to the strategic hot gates location. His wife says goodbye, telling him to come back with his shield or on it, and gives him a necklace. Leonidas, king of the Greek city-state of Sparta, leads his badly outnumbered warriors against the massive Persian army. On the road they meet some allies, who are shocked that the Spartans are sending such a small force. Leonidas asks the professions of the allied army, who are craftsmen and artisans. He points out that he has brought more soldiers than they. Joined by Arcadians and other Greeks, they arrive at Thermopylae. In sight of the approaching Persian army, they construct a wall to contain the Persians' advance. Strong storms destroy some of Xerxes' fleet, but it is only a small percentage of the massive army they will face. A horribly disfigured man, Ephialtes, comes to see Leonidas to warn him of a disused goat path at the rear of his position. Ephialtes claims that his parents fled Sparta at his birth to save his life. He hopes to redeem them by fighting for Leonidas. Leonidas explains that each Spartan warrior is a key part of the phalanx and asks Ephialtes to show that he can lift his shield high enough to properly defend his fellow warriors. When it becomes evident that he cannot, Leonidas gently tells him to care for the fallen instead. Ephialtes' fondest hopes are crushed. A Persian emissary arrives and finds that the corpses of the previous scouting party now make up part of the large rock wall. The Persian states that their arrows will blot out the sun, and the Spartans agree they will simply fight in the shade. The emissary's party is killed. Prior to the battle, the Persians demand that the Spartans drop their arms and surrender. Leonidas refuses and challenges the Persians to come and take their weapons from them. With their tightly knit phalanx formation, the Spartans funnel the Persians into the narrow terrain, repeatedly rebuffing them and inflicting heavy casualties. Xerxes, who refers to himself as the God King, impressed with Spartan fighting skill, personally approaches Leonidas to persuade him to surrender. He promises Leonidas wealth and power in exchange for his loyalty. Leonidas declines, promising instead to make the God King bleed, and turns to rejoin his army. Dismayed at the refusal, Xerxes sends his masked personal guard, the Immortals, which name the Spartans also prove false. The battles continue, with the Spartans prevailing over soldiers and animals drawn from the vast reaches of the Persian Empire, from Mongolian barbarians and Eastern chemists to African rhinoceroses and Indian war elephants. However, some of the brave Spartan warriors are killed, and it becomes clear that more will follow. Ephialtes goes to Xerxes and agrees to show the goat path to the Persians in exchange for a uniform, along with promises of women and wealth. Xerxes will grant Ephialtes his wish if he will kneel before the god king. Back in Sparta, Queen Gorgo has been trying to convince the council to send help to Leonidas. A friendly councilman arranges for her to speak but explains that she will need Theron on her side. Theron agrees to help her if she will sleep with him, so she does. At the Hot Gates, the Spartans learn they have been betrayed, and know their fight is doomed. The Arcadians retreat in the face of certain death. The Spartans refuse to follow. Leonidas orders a reluctant Delios to return to Sparta and tell of their inevitable deaths. In Sparta, Queen Gorgo makes her appeal to the council. Instead of supporting her as promised, Theron betrays her, accusing her of adultery. Enraged, Gorgo snatches a sword and stabs Theron, rupturing a bag of gold hidden in his robe. As the coins stamped with Persian markings spill onto the ground, the council realizes Theron's treachery and agree to unite against Persia. Though certain death awaits the Spartans, their sacrifice inspires all of Greece to unite against their common enemy. At the Hot Gates, as the Persians surround the Spartans, who have created a dome out of their shields, Leonidas stands along in front of the dome. Xerxes' general demands their surrender, declaring that Leonidas may keep his title as king of Sparta and become warlord of all Greece, answerable only to Xerxes. Ephialtes urges this as well, to which Leonidas remarks, "May you live forever," an insult from a culture valuing death and valor in battle. Leonidas drops his shield and removes his helmet, seemingly bowing in submission. Stelios then bursts out of the dome and leaps over his king and kills the general. A furious Xerxes orders his troops to attack. As Persian archers shoot the remaining Spartans, Leonidas rises and hurls his spear at Xerxes, ripping open his cheek, thus making the god king bleed. Xerxes, visibly shaken by this reminder of his own mortality, watches as the remaining Spartans perish beneath the combined might of his army. Leonidas himself marks his final moments by telling his wife aloud that he loves her. A rain of arrows falls upon him and the screen goes black. Back in Sparta, Delios gives the necklace to Queen Gorgo and tells her of her husband's fate. Concluding his tale before an audience of attentive Spartans, Delios declares that the 120,000-strong Persian army that narrowly defeated 300 Spartans now faces 10,000 Spartans commanding 30,000 Greeks. Praising Leonidas' sacrifice, Delios leads the assembled Greek army into a fierce charge against the Persian army, igniting the Battle of Plataea. Be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you can watch more videos like this. Thanks for watching.